back to the channel, Warhammer Man Studios, and I am of course Warhammer Man. Today we are going to be messing around with our Zone Mortalis set, and what we have is the Dark Uprising Necromunda campaign box, and we've used two of the terrain sets as well as some magnets and some lights and a couple various accessories, including some Alchomite stacks to kind of soup up the board here a little bit. And now the board is completed. We're on a 2x2 on the Zone Mortalis tile set, and we're planning on breaking it down and basically painting it up so we can start filming battle reports and start our campaign. We're basically new to Necromunda, although we've played years ago. It has been probably 10 years since we played. So even though we play Warhammer and Kill Team, etc., we're going to be new getting back into Necromunda essentially. So we're going to start with a couple little like skirmish little side missions to kind of jumpstart the campaign with a few less points and a smaller board to just kind of get the feel of the game a little bit and keep it speedy, and then obviously we'll be able to expand the gangs to normal sizes and then kind of go from there. So we're basically just adding like a little bit of a prequel to the campaign. Instead of starting with like 1,000 points, I think we're going to start with like 500 each and have a couple of limitations. So there we have it, basically just a little explanation, a little backstory of it. We are going to be today messing around primarily with, I think today in this video we're just going to do like some magnetization. I know quite a few people are excited to magnetize or do lights or whatever. I did a lighting video on the specific lights, the LED T lights that I've used to light this board. They are remote control, battery operated. So if you're interested in that, I do encourage you to check out that video, and I do appreciate all the support and feedback I've been getting from the community. But now what we want to do is basically we're going to go through this set, and alright, so you get a bunch of these things, you want to build your set, but you're not sure exactly how you want to build it. You're going to move stuff around. So at first what I would recommend to do is, if you're not sure, you can just use like a tiny little bit of glue and basically just have them stuck together enough so they won't break apart, but they're also not like permanently attached. So then if you do change your mind, you can break it back off. If it leaves a little residue, you can clean it up, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's Necromunda. No one will ever know. So that's what I would recommend if you're not sure what you're going to do. Now, if you know what you're going to do, that's fine. You can glue it however you want. If you want to keep it modular, this is the video for you, because that's what we're going to talk about. And in no way did I invent using magnets in Warhammer or any of like this stuff. I'm not taking credit for knowing where to put magnets or anything like that. I'm just explaining to people and helping people understand, the tricks and tips that I have picked up, so that you can have a better magnetized set. Because I guarantee you, 98% of the entire world's population that watches this video is going to be able to pick up some kind of tip or trick from it, in the same way that I pick up tips and tricks from other people's videos. So there you have it, guys. This is our basic piece right here, and then we have these guys right here, the little floor pieces, and then our last kind of piece is like one of these guys right here, and that's basically like what makes up the floor. These guys go into here like that, these guys go into here like that, and then you basically have like a section of floor, and then you can put them cross this way. If you're familiar with the Zone Mortalis set, there's only a certain number of ways you can place all this stuff. So what we're going to do is basically magnetize some of these components. Although some of them don't need to be magnetized. I was saying this in another video, like for instance, and I know people were asking like, is this still modular and everything, like, because it's always built and whatever. You might have watched me build it and not know what's going on. So I'm just going to do something here for you guys who have been like asking questions. Okay, this is all modular. It's all magnetized. It's all modular. You can take apart, you can build, you can expand. It's everything you want. You can change it in any way that you want. None of this is permanently mounted unless I specifically, saw a certain piece that say like I felt like I wanted, permanently mounted in that way, or I wasn't gonna, come back and change it later, or maybe I just felt like that was something that I was gonna use like very common in, like any build I was gonna do basically. So. But yeah, there you have it. Obviously, You know, I'm like Wreck-It Ralph over here. Just I come in here and I just tear it up, tear the Warhammer world up. These dudes don't even know what hit them when I come in here. No, I mean I'm pretty clumsy, so like it is kind of cool to see, you know, how much you can kind of like. Okay, for instance, these things are not glued at all, and they're super annoying. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll glue them all on there, but I don't know. I like them though because they do kind of hold up stuff like that where you have two pieces together. And this is exactly, you know, basically I'm going to show you now why it's important to magnetize some of these. Because you'll see I have like this piece kind of like glued together into like one piece, but it's basically a couple pieces. It's just right now as one, because when I built it, you know, essentially what I would do is I would put a couple stable pieces together and then I'd take one of these little like railings and, you know, basically just like all janky like attach it. And that's like how a couple of these different spots are attached or whatever. So all I'm doing now is I'm going back and basically like making all this sturdy, you know what I mean? And going in and doing what I need to do. So what I'm doing for this is, now that I have the technique down and now that I have the board down and everything, you know, I'm going back now and magnetizing certain pieces. I'm leaving other ones I don't need magnetized, etc. So this is one of the 3-piece ones that comes in the kit. These are crucial. You're going to use these like all the time, obviously. That's why they give them to you already built. So you don't necessarily need to like mess with anything. That's already 3 pieces put together. But you're going to have other pieces, like for instance, this guy right here. This to me is a common piece that you'll use because it has essentially the one center piece and then it has like the 90-degree turn. I use these a lot. Like also the other one is just like a 90 without this being on the end. So there's different pieces you'll find that you may want to like permanently attach. But then what you're going to essentially find is that if you magnetize some of the other pieces, you can get whatever effect it is that you're trying to get. So like this one can magnetize right here, and then it's all, now this is all magnetized together. So now it gives it like a lot more stability. I mean, like, you know, obviously if you push on it or whatever, you know, you can make it fall. But if there's no models that weigh more than, you know, like a heavy X-Acto knife like that. So, you know, essentially you can get what you need to do, magnetize what you need to magnetize, you know, but you don't need to magnetize every single joint, I guess is what I'm getting at. You can kind of use discretion because it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of magnets, but the cost is not very much. So it's really about like the effort that you want to put in. But like everything on here is magnetized, the lifts, all of it. So let me take one of these guys here. So as you can see, I've gone through and kind of magnetized some stuff already, but I was going to do some in the video too. Again, this is a 3-piece guy right here, okay? This is the one that comes like this already built. So for this one, the main thing that you want to magnetize, in my opinion, is the end pieces right here. Because most likely what you're going to do is you're going to have a situation where you have just like this. You have 2 of these main guys next to each other for a long walkway, or else you might end up with a situation, you know, basically the opposite situation, which is this right here, where you end up with, you know, one of them full and then one of them is a 90 like that. But that's basically like the 2 situations you have where 2 of these come together. And you'll see it happens over and over again in every build. So the most important thing to magnetize on these pieces is where the 2 joints come together, okay? So now there's a lot of places you could place your magnets in 100 different places on this thing, on the end here, to get your connection that you want. But I went through and I tested some of this stuff and experienced it, and I've come to exactly where I want to magnetize and where it works best for me. So when I'm magnetizing these pieces right here, I magnetize on that little strip, that little metal strip with the mounting little brackets or whatever built into the floor. So I use that right there, and then I magnetize in line with it. So then I can line that up on every single one so they're lined up in the same place. So once I do that, now I can do it on the next one, and I'll have the holes in the exact same place, okay? Now, other people I'm sure have already done this and are doing this, and that's great. Again, I'm not trying to steal anyone's thunder, but this is where like the advanced technique comes in, okay? You can magnetize these any way you want, whatever direction, polarity you want to put these magnets in. You can have them both be males, you can have them both be females, you can have whatever you want to do, okay? But when you go to put these pieces together, if you magnetize all of your floor pieces in this way I'm about to explain, you will be able to have unlimited compatibility, and you'll never have one that is 2 males and another that is 2 males or whatever, and they don't line up. So what you're going to want to do is, when you take, I'm going to switch to this piece right here. So you're going to essentially take this piece and you're going to drill 2 holes on each side in it, okay? And the 2 holes are going to line up in correspondence, obviously, with where this piece lines up. And again, what we did was, oh, I just switched. I'm sorry. So we're working on this piece right now. So you're going to drill your 2 holes right here in this piece, okay, on every side. As you see, there's 2 in every side, okay? But what you want to do is you want to magnetize them in a specific way. So this piece, I'm going to show you to demonstrate with some magnets so you can see the difference in polarity, what I'm trying to explain here. So if we take this magnet that's already in here, you see that polarity on there, how that goes? Now the other one is reversed, all right? So it won't stick. If you flip it around, obviously, the other way, now it will stick, okay? But then if you go back to the first one, it will not stick. So they're reverse polarity. Now you need to do that on every single side in the same way, and all your pieces will be 100% compatible, okay? So what I'm saying is this piece right here is the same as this, all right? So if this piece is magnetized right here in this way, the top piece on this one needs to be magnetized in that way as well. So if you take this now, imagine this is magnetized in that hole, and I'm going to hold the magnet here, and then when we flip it over, upside down, now the polarity is the same. So these 2 will go together, okay? So now I'm going to demonstrate that with, this one's already drilled out, you know what I mean? But what I'm going to do is just drop a little glue in the holes here, and I think this is such a basic concept, but I mean, it took me a while to figure this out, the best way to do it. So, you know, maybe this will occur to you, or maybe you'll learn it from the video. But so I'm just going to line it up the same way with that one, and I'm just going to stick a little magnet strip in the hole, and then I'm going to take this one, and again, it's going to be reversed now. So look, I flipped it over, now it lines up with that one, and then I'm going to take that one, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. So what I do is I just like start it in the hole. I drill these holes like perfect diameter, so that the magnets are like pressure fitted in there too. So over time the glue will like break down and crack, and like the outer coating on the magnets can actually like chip away over time and reveal like the actual magnet underneath. And a lot of times in a painted model, you know, it breaks off and it ruins like the paint job. You got to go back, fix it up, or re-glue it or whatever. So you could probably get away with like a little bit bigger of a hole than I use, but again, these are like pressure fitted in here versus just like, you know, glued or whatever. Alright, so now we have our piece, and it's got magnets in it, and it's magnetized the exact same way as the previous one. So now if every one of your pieces is magnetized just like this, they're all going to line up. Of course it's like a different piece that I just showed you, but you would get the point here, theoretically.